Hello, I'm Father Abraham Feliciano, and I'm a Salesian of Don Bosco. And during this month of August, one of the things that we celebrate is the birthday of St. John Bosco on August 16th. I'd like to share with you one of the gifts that Don Bosco has given to us as his Salesian family. A beautiful tradition that we still continue in all of our schools, parishes, youth centers, in our Salesian communities, and on all our retreats and programs. It's called the Salesian Goodnight. This tradition has its origin when Don Bosco was still a young priest and his mother, Mama Margaret Oquiana Bosco, was working with him in the first oratory. In May of 1847, it was a very stormy, rainy night, and they hear a knock on the door, and this 15-year-old boy, who was coming from a great distance from another part of northern Italy, was at the door. They let him in. He was soaked to the bone. He was hungry. They started talking to him to get to know his name, and they find out that he's an orphan. He's an orphan who hasn't done his first communion, hasn't done confirmation, is barely literate, and he has nowhere to stay. And so they ask him what they could do for him, and he asks for a place to stay. Well, they were a little hesitant at first because the first group of young men that they had come in actually stole everything from them. But they felt bad, of course, because here was a young man in need. And so together, Mama Margaret and Don Bosco work to create some sort of makeshift bed. Of course, they give him not only food, but they gave him dry clothes. And then Mama Margaret went into full mom mode. And she takes the young boy after giving him a nourishing meal, and she tucks him in. And as he's getting ready for bed, she gives him a beautiful thought to help him to think about God's presence in his life, what God is calling him to do and to be, and to help him to realize how God is blessing him. She gives him this thought, then teaches him a few prayers because he didn't know a lot, and wishes him a good night. This tradition is carried on today, as I said earlier, in all of our Salesian places, where at the end of every day with our young people, youth and young adults, we gather, we say 3 Hail Marys together, which is what Don Bosco taught the boys in the oratory to do, and then gives them this good night thought, which helps us to be aware of God's presence, what God has taught us, and to help us to not only sleep in God's peace, but also to rise the next day with enthusiasm and joy, knowing that God has many things planned for us. I invite you at the end of this video, this good night about the good night, to say 3 Hail Marys, to prepare yourself not only to sleep, but to rise tomorrow with the Lord, to continue to love and serve Him, and to know Him better, but also to make Him loved, served, and better known. And I wish you a good night.